Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday what? September 10th. It is crazy. Tomorrow's September 11th. So let's remember that coming up, right? Are you guys ready to get back to like normalcy? Did we disrupt enough of the industry? Has anybody been damaged by the disruption? Really, no, right? We're going to talk about that because a lot of that's mindset. What goes into our minds? Are some people damaged by the changes? Yeah, we're seeing it happen. So, exactly. They don't attend their training that they do have, right? That's the difference. Cool. Let's go and get started. The last month of quarter three, what do you think the future holds? Be honest. What happens in quarter four? Slowing trend. Why? I'll give you my reason why. Because agents, that's exactly, you've been with me way too long. Agents quit working, right? Because Halloween comes up and we got to take care of the kids and trick-or-treaters. And then Thanksgiving comes and family comes in town because we all live in Florida. And then Christmas comes, you're going to take off for 2 weeks for a shop and do all that stuff. So the schedule we talked about yesterday is out the window for quarter four. Christmas is just one day. Christmas Eve is one day. Hanukkah is like 7 days though. And then, it goes and goes. So that's one of the things. But do people still have to move? What type of people have been dealing with over the last year only? Those that have to move. So they're still going to have to move. Are people still going to get married? People still going to die. Still going to get divorced. Still having babies. Pregnant people walking around? Get pregnant. You'll see a bunch of pregnant people. Right? Not you. No. Right? So I think a lot of it is making sure that our mindset is proper for what's going on. The market is not slowing down. The buyer pool is going. So what do you really do? What does a squirrel do before winter? Stores up their nuts, right? So what should you be doing now? And our customers are nuts, right? So store up your nuts while you can, because what's going to happen at the turn of the year? What is the government saying right now? Interest rates are going to come down. Why? Well, the election is going to do it. Inflation and joblessness, unemployment. So the economy is slowing down and they don't want to slow down too much. So they're going to lower rates to spark it back up again. So what does that mean to our customers? This is all stuff I want you guys talking about to your social networks. Their buying power is going up. Jeanette and I, we were talking this morning. What has happened to home prices? They're coming down. Jeanette just said in her neighborhood in the Knolls, she just sold her parents' house for $220. How long ago? A year and a half ago, and now they're selling under 200. Right, that's a 10% drop over a year and a half, which isn't a big deal. But they bought it for 100,000. They bought it for 100, sold it for 220. The next person bought it for 190. They still would have done well at 190. Right, so it's all perception. So it's just the message that we give. We can cave and quiver. Ooh, scary stuff. Or oh my God, are you kidding me? Nuts. Cool. Let's jump in. The enlightened perspective of the day. Surrender to things as they are, and you'll be free to take inspired action. What does that mean? Work with what you got. It is what it is. Rates are high. Do we sell houses where rates are high? Rates are lower. We're going to sell houses where rates are lower? Yep. If you just surrender to that idea, then you could take inspired action. Say, shit, I'm going to get off my ass and go to work. As opposed to, I'm going to crawl in bed and watch Netflix. Right? Choice. There you go. Everything is meaningless until you add meaning to it. This is Matthew's talk yesterday. Everything is meaningless until you add meaning to it. Kalani, can an event happen and I read a certain meaning into it and you read a different meaning into it? Yes? That was very convincing, but yes. I could, everything is meaningless until you give it meaning, and you give things different meaning than I do. Right? And no discount. Your meaning is no better or worse than mine. It's just we have different meanings. That's a loud ring you got there.
I love the other side of that is we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So however you show up to it with whatever attitude and intention and emotion you show up to something with is typically the meaning you will start to attach to it in that kind of light, because you're seeing it through a different vision, a different shade, a different mask.
100%. Megan is homesick today. So Megan, get well soon. but you want to remind you we have a class with Paramount Title on Thursday, and it's going to be how to have a successful closing. And there are lots of little nuances that you guys can do to help them help you have a successful closing. And Megan does a great job teaching that stuff too. So that's a good class on Thursday. So wish her well and getting well today. Best practice for this week, create a schedule that places the big rocks first and stick to it. You just see my talk yesterday? Remember the big rocks and the gravel and the sand and the water? If you don't put the big rocks in first, there's no room for the other stuff, right? So what are our big rocks in real estate? Starts with a P. Prospecting. If you don't get that out of the way, you got to eat the frog in the morning because it's going to taste really bad in the afternoon, even worse in the afternoon. So you got the big rocks first. That was the message from yesterday. Okay, quiz time. If you don't mind, go to that new normal real estate. This is just fun. I like to get kind of goofy. Question. This is from a seller. Wait, I'm offering 3% to the buyer's agent like you suggested. What if their BBA only allows 2%? You said the answer. I wrote the answer on the board. Why would I bring that up as a question? Are you bringing that up on a presentation? Hey, seller, offer as much as you can. Are we seeing agents only ask for 2.5%?
Yes.
100%. So if the seller offers 3 and the buyer's only entitled to what they asked for, then what's going to happen? They get the difference. Perfect. But I did say, it depends. If the compensation offered is seller to buyer broker, you keep the difference. But if it's listing broker to buyer broker, we keep the difference. That's the way it works. What is our policy? Seller to buyer broker, right? So the seller gets the discount, which is what we want. But if you're not bringing that up to them, it takes some of the edge away from paying the higher commission, because in many cases they won't have to, but at least they're prepared to. Next question. I only want to offer 2% to the buyer's agent. Are you okay with that? Our answer is yes. Commissions are fully negotiable. But tell me, what would you do if the buyer requested an extra 1% to pay their buyer's agent? Oh, I'd do it. Okay, offer whatever you want, right? Works for me, right? So we're flexible in these points. So I don't want you to think we're rock hard and solid and we have to go one way or the other, right? All right, buyer questions. Okay, I signed an EBBA at 3%, but the seller's only offering 1.5. What can you do for me? So the buyer says, I got to pay you 3, but the seller's only paying 1.5, and this is the house I want. Is that going to happen in the marketplace?
Yep.
Yes, it's happening now.
Yep.
Right. So what are we trying to get you not to do?
Cave.
Roll over and cave. So what do we say? It's all right. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, but first, you can probably correct my English. But first, let's review the market and see where the home value really lies. Isn't the value of the home what we're really after? If a house was worth 400 and they were offering it at 375 with a 1.5% commission, what's a better deal? Paying 400 and 3 or 375 and 1.5? No, 375 and 1.5 is better. Because 1.5% is 2% is $6,000. So you'd be 380 something, 382 versus 400 is cheaper. So let's go back to market value. You've been trying to say this in a couple of different ways. Let's look at the value of the house. Now, if the seller's being a greedy pig and the market's here and everybody here is paying 3% and he wants to be here, but only wants to offer this much, then we just add it to our contract and ask him to pay our commission. Or if he's down below market to attract more buyers, which is a smart move, then we can simply raise our price above his to get our commission paid. That's having the buyer pay. But I also said, we can increase our price to cover the gap. Alternatively, if the seller is looking for market price or above and is still not willing to pay the gap, we have a decision to make. We can move on to other homes and revisit this one later if it's still in the market. Or we can get with your lender and see what other creative ideas we can come up with. How many people watched Paul Dolan's class last Thursday? Where there were like 13 ways that we can get a mortgage broker to compensate for the extra price. And when we're talking about numbers like this, should we use numbers or percentages?
Numbers.
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 What's 1.5%? That's a huge, that's half of the commission. What's 1.5% of $4,000? Of $400,000? $6,000. So we're talking about $6,000 on a $400,000 house. Would you walk away if the seller counted at 406? Probably not. But 1.5% is a lot of money.
We were just doing that the other day. There's an agent and the difference, the seller was offering 2.25 and our buyer agreement was at 2.5. And the buyer kept saying, the 0.25%, the 0.25%, the 0.25%. And when we looked at what 0.25% was, we're talking about $1,500. Are you going to walk away from this deal over $1,500? No, you're not going to walk away from it. And quite frankly, that's not going to be the reason you don't get this house, is because I won't be willing to allow you to buy this house because I'm fighting over $1,500 too. But the buyer's more willing to also pay that $1,500 because it's minimal. It's $1,500. They're not going to walk away from a home that they really love over $1,500.
Right. Unless you cave. Right? Do you guys got bills to pay? Do you guys pay income taxes on your income? Does extra money help do those things? There you go. All right, this is a fun question. Wow, I didn't think you could pull it off. Thank you. You earned every penny of your EBBA. The seller didn't want to pay more than 2% and you talked them into it. And your answer is, that's why you hired me as an expert negotiator. Please complete the QSS quality service survey and tell your friends about me. Right? Because you guys should be taking credit for these wins that you're making. Right? That's my point there. Cool. That's all on this one. Let's recognize our August top award winners. This is impressive because if you haven't noticed, the company's growing a lot. So let's take a look at that video. This is Samantha who built this, and she's a talented little kid. She's gonna be 30 years old. Top listing agents in the company. Look at all these are all top agents. You know, they tie for listings in different offices most. Yeah, all of them. Miguel Salvat, number one in the company. It took 4 listings in the month. 4 listings a month. Oh, that's not a lot to be a top agent. What's 4 times 12? Boy, I'm analytical today, aren't I? 48. Anybody here be proud to take 48 listings a year? Yeah, would that be a top producing agent? One hell, yes, it is. All right, next slide is going to come automatically. Top selling agents. Look at that list. Notice they're all the same. They're all short, they're all tall, they're all black, they're all white, they're all skinny, they're all, everything's different across the board. Number 1 agent in the company, Heidi Seddon, 8 sales. 8 times 12 is
96.
96. Is that a lot? That's like nationwide top producing. And individual offices have these awards to go over individually, but I just wanted to point out the number 1s in the company. Most closed units. This man is on fire. Kevin Friel, 7 closings. And Centurion already this year. Look at all those winners. You see a lot of the same faces, don't you? Why? Because listings turn into sales and sales turn into closings. So if you want to play the game, get more listings, because then you get more sales, then you get more closings. Most closed commissions coming up next. Not as many ties on the commission numbers. There's so many differences, but number 1 was Cody Calvo with, I would say, over $4 million in closed volume for the year, for the month. That's a pretty good month. Right? Big, big, big numbers. And it's really hard because number 2 and number 3 were like $3 million for the month, which is a good number for a year. And that's in a month. So there's our top winners for the company. That's the same show.
Yep.
Okay. So I just want to remind you, last week, Jimmy did a hell of a job recalling all the things we have to do in Moxie work. And I kind of wanted to inspire you guys to schedule some time between now and the end of the year, while it's going to be a little bit slower, to master those things. And he put together a page of links to really short 2 to 5 minute videos on how to master each one of those concepts. So as we talked about scheduling yesterday, schedule some times to get those done if you want to enhance your business using Moxie to make you show up better. Right, Jimmy? Okay. We're doing, Jeff's doing the beach maker. He sold 3 beach. He sold 3, I think he sold 3 beach makers from the call last Thursday night. So they're selling again. He just sold another residence last night. So the market's picking up. What's also happening in Florida right now? Who's starting to come to town? The vacationers and the snowbirds. And what are they looking for? And what do they have? Money. Where do they get their money from? Real estate. Real estate in the stock market. And they're coming here and they're seeing deals compared to where they're from. So is that a mindset? or is it, oh no, the market's shitty, it's fourth quarter? Pick one. We're doing open mic time every Thursday from 1 to 1:30. It's kind of fun. If you guys don't have something to say though, the class drags on and we start tap dancing. So really just any open questions would help the class flow really well. This is a fun story. So Katie Hassan was referred to me by Russell Miller, who works in our Madeira Beach office. And Russell's a cool cat. And Katie is a salesperson who works for Southwestern Consulting. And I answered the phone because I was expecting a call from somebody else named Kate, who we just talked to last week. And I thought I was talking to her, but I wasn't. And then she told me she wanted to come make a presentation to her office. And like you and I've talked, I don't see any value in you making a presentation to my office. She goes, well, I'm really good at what I do. And I said, well, no, we don't really bring in outside trainers. And every friggin' objection I threw at her, she handled. She deaf-eared it. She handled it. She put me in my place. She brought value back. And after I was driving to my aunt for lunch in Little Harbor, and she kept me on the phone the entire time. And I'm pretty good at blowing salespeople off. And she was that good. And I'm like, wow. So she's going to appear tomorrow at 11 o'clock here, live and on Zoom, just for a free sales class on upgrading your sales skills. And I'm telling you, I would not bring her in if she didn't beat me over the head, but she beat me. And it's not easy to do, but she brought value. And I said, man, if we could consider continually push past the no, there is a yes there. But too many of us give up too early on the no instead of pushing past to get to the yes. So really cool, girl. She'll be here at the building at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And my inbox, we'll just hit those and we're doing pretty good on time.
That's right. I had to relog.
It's red.
I had to relog in, so I had to go to the
That's okay.
sales meeting.
Okay, this is cool. So Angelique and Sam and Jimmy and a lot of the OTLs have put together a whole new onboarding program. And a lot of you have been with us for a long time and haven't realized the full potential of what we offer as a company. So we're going to start doing this every Wednesday from 1 to 3 via Zoom. You're all invited. It's not like exclusive for just new agents. If you're confused, just want to see what's going on. 1 to 3 is a 2-hour class, right? Mostly on Zoom because it's statewide, but it's a new agent orientation. And Jimmy, Sam, and Caitlin are going to go through. Jamie's going to go through Moxie, Sam's going to go through Dot Loop, and Caitlin's going to go through the next level U, which has been totally redesigned and almost ready to launch. As a matter of fact, Jimmy and Mike are going to start training that this Thursday. What do you see? What is in that site? It's any question you have. And Mike's such a nerd. It's all AI powered. I mean, it writes your bio for you if you wanted to. It'll write your listing descriptions. It'll do all kinds of stuff right inside that site. Right? So that's just coming up on these Wednesdays. They'll be on your company calendar. So just log into your calendar and you'll see them. That's that one. Oh, this is Kate's flyer. Increase your sales immediately. How to manage your schedule for maximum productivity. How to uncover your clients' needs quickly and prevent objections. She got me on. How to properly qualify prospects and shorten your sales cycle. Ooh, I like that. Closing techniques to bring clients to a quick decision and prevent unnecessary follow-up. And tips for developing a top producer mindset to keep yourself motivated. I sent that out to you last night and a week ago. So that's just coming Wednesday. Just show up. That's the same one. This is fun. So scroll down. This is the showcase of the week. So Zillow showcase is a token that you put in your house. And every week, Adam is our coach now. And he sends me a showcase of the week. So this is Margaret, who's got a listing in Spring Hill, on the market for 4 days, 986 views, 63 saves. And a similar home in the neighborhood has been on the market for 11 days, has only 278 versus 986, 15 saves versus 63. Scroll back to the top, because I sent this out yesterday, and Margaret wrote, may I highlight is under contract. So pretty good. Exposure counts. Trey Goldman. I think we're going to talk about these on Friday. Or you're going to talk about today, I'm sure too, but there's new riders for the compensation for the beat buyer broker agreements. Agents have been confused about how to incorporate a contract between a buyer agent and a seller. Does that belong in a contract between a buyer and a seller? No. Or a listing broker and a settling broker. Does that belong in the contract between a buyer and a seller? No. So they added riders, EE and FF, to the FAR bar contract that would bring that into the contract. It does nothing, doesn't change anything the way we're doing it. The way we're doing it is right. This is just another way to do it.
Mhm.
Whichever one you feel more comfortable with, we'll teach you both. This is just so Angelique summarizes everything we did during the week. So if you miss anything, it's easy to find. And this will all be housed now in the Next Level University. So it'll be even easier to find when you're looking for it. As discussed last week, Jimmy and I will be using Thursdays to do our tool review and make sure the agents are constantly made aware of the tools and programs that we have. So Thursday is going to be replaced with Tactical Thursday, which is mostly Jimmy and I. That's what Jimmy and Mike doing through all the same tools, but where you'd find them easily. Michael Mann, those two, you add them already. It's good. I just like this. I read it yesterday. I'll read it again today. Chairman Powell made it clear that rate cuts are around the corner. The time has come for policy to adjust. Mortgage rates immediately improved, and we expect them to continue improving heading into 2025. This will ease the locked-in effect, unlock more inventory for buyers, and catalyze the housing market in a positive way. You should leverage this news as an opportunity to re-engage with your database. They all have questions. That's the key, right? You've been reassigning old Zillow leads. What did you find?
We typically find that for every 15 or so, there's probably 2 good conversations in there and at least one that comes out of it that you can start building rapport with. And most of the time we find at least 1 or 2 out of 15 that had already bought as well.
Right. So the point is you go back 6 months and say, hey, you got squeezed out of the market because you couldn't afford anything because prices were high and interest rates are high. Now prices are coming down and interest rates are going down. Your buying power is going up and the prices are coming down. Let's get you requalified now.
Who knows what your interest rate is on your car?
I don't.
Who knows exactly what your interest rate is? Exactly. Not like, I think it's around exactly what that interest rate is. Every single, we might get maybe 5 out of 100 people that know what it is. So why would a buyer who it's not top of mind, they're not really thinking about it, they've put it on hold for now because they thought they couldn't afford, why would they know what interest rates are in the open market right now? It's up to you to call them and let them know, hey, now might be a good time to start getting a little more engaged. The market's been a little bit more in favor of buyers recently with some of the credits, incentives, interest rates. You probably just got $30,000 to $50,000 in purchasing power back on your side. Do you think now might be a good time to discuss a little bit more? When can we schedule a Zoom call, meeting? Let's go check out that new construction neighborhood. Just do something that simple with every single buyer who's been in your pipeline in the last 2 years. They should all get some type of call just to discuss that because the rates are the lowest they've been in 15 months.
That pool in your backyard is going to be a lawn ornament in 30 days. This is a good time to move, build a new pool that you want, right? I think that's the last of my topics.
The tip
Yeah,
of the
tip of the week. Thank you, Jimmy, for putting all this stuff together for us, right? I mean, he does a very nice job putting in a concise, short message. So this one was working with Moxie Impress. What is Moxie Impress? Who knows? Give me an example. It does all your marketing on your listings. And how much work do you have to do for it? Like almost none, right? And I'm gonna get to the almost none part in a second, because I think what Mike and Jimmy are gonna talk about on Thursday is using Sochi. Because if you use Sochi, it'll integrate with Moxie Impress. And every time you get a listing, it's gonna go out automatically. You don't have to touch it. You can touch it, but you don't have to. Every time the listing is sold, you're gonna get a just sold postcard or email or blast or Facebook post or whatever you want, or all of the above, or LinkedIn or whatever you want. So you have to learn how to use that a little bit. But once you set it, you can, Bronco, forget it. Set it and forget it. Okay. Mr. Reed had a birthday that got skipped somehow on the thing. So we got a happy birthday, Chris, last week.
I didn't skip it.
Chris Kennedy on September 9th, Jeanette Martinez on September 9th, Erica Beltrano on September 9th, Jesse Griffin coming up today. Happy birthday, Jesse. I actually owe you a phone call from yesterday. I'm sorry about that. Mike Wiles will be on the 11th. Andrew Bowden from Madeira Beach, along with Randy Schuster on the 11th and 12th. Kathy Jacobson here in Apollo Beach on the 13th. You guys are killing me with these names. Yana Viktorsevska from Southampton on the 13th. Amber Stodart from IRB on the 13th. Aileen Daruja on Sarasota on the 13th. Jamie Peck from Brandon on the 14th. And Catherine Nguyen from Apollo Beach on the 15th. Happy birthday this week. Chris, wrap me up with this one. You don't want to say.
Well, here's a really cool time for you guys, because our goal is to hit $149,000 to get to Masters Ruby. That's the baseline that we're looking to hit. Most of the time, that's the goal that we're going to put out there. Try to get you to Masters, because that means that you're going to be a top producer. You'll be invited to all of the top agent events. You'll be invited to the end of the year top agent events for corporate and for Beggins Enterprises. So really, we're in the end of the third quarter, right? We got 3 weeks left till the end of the third quarter. 3 weeks, and then the fourth quarter starts. And how long is your typical buyer cycle? 18 to 24 months. A lot of us have buyers in our pipeline that have been there for more than 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. So you all have a lot of opportunities to get back in front of your buyers right now, and our sellers, especially new sellers you can get in contact with, like expired listings, absentee owners, coming into this fourth quarter to really round this year out really well. So every single one of your managers has all of your numbers year to date right now in their inbox. And every single one of them is looking for you to reach out to them, to schedule an appointment with them, to review your numbers over this next 3 weeks, so we can start the fourth quarter off really, really, really strong. And we can make sure that we get you as close to or above the number that you set at the beginning of the year and close out the fourth quarter. Who here wants an awesome holiday season? Who here is planning on taking another trip? Who here has, well, yeah, I'm looking at you. You probably got 3 more. Who here has some plans for New Year's, or wants to start the year off strong for New Year's, because I'm going to have a full pipeline full of business with everything that we're doing in this fourth quarter? So let's really get to work. Like I said, every single one of your managers has the numbers for your year to date for this year. So every one of you should be reaching out to them, scheduling a coaching appointment with them, sitting down with them. Where am I? What do I need to do? How close am I? What do I have pending? What's on the books? What should I be doing? Where should I focus my business? How can you help me get to the next step? Sit down and let's strategize on where to get you and how to get you to where you want to be by the end of this year.
Let me give you an example of that. So last night I talked to my daughter, Jessica, and she was in the manager meeting with us yesterday, and we went through the numbers, and she goes, yeah, my year sucked. I'm going, no, it didn't. I see you on the hot sheet all the freaking time. You guys seen her name on the hot sheet? I mean, she's on there all the time. She's had 17 closings so far this year. That's pretty damn good. But she pays a lot of referral fees, and she has a lot of lower price homes compared to some of the other people in her office. So her GCI is not as high for the closings that she's had. But she's opened already, and she didn't know this, over 140,000. So she's got a big pending pipeline.
Yep.
And in addition to that, she has 7 active listings right now. Right? So going into the fourth quarter, she has 7 active listings. What happens if we spend some time marketing those listings, pricing those listings properly, and they go under contract? So she's at 17. She's got whatever she's got pending, because it's not on this report. And then she could potentially have 7 more. She's going to end up with close to 30 transactions closed and be into the Masters Awards program. But she has a shitty year so far.
I think that's one of the most important pieces that a lot of times we miss. We miss where we currently are because we're so focused on where we want to be.
Or we're not.
And we think that there's this huge gap there. We just sit down and look at where you are. And this, Jess was a prime example of that. One time I sat down with her and we went through, she goes, oh my God, I have nothing, absolutely nothing. Like her words, absolutely nothing. There's nothing pending, nothing this. So we sit down and look, and she's got, oh, I do have these 2 pending. This one is pending and this one. I'm like, okay. Well, and I've got this listing on the market, and I've got one that's just going on the market. And I'm talking to this other one. I'm probably going to go on in 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm taking another buyer out. Oh, and there's this, so we sit down and start focusing. And we realize, okay, you don't have absolutely nothing. You literally have.
Well, some of you do.
But you,
not the people watching this are in the room.
But you don't, though, because every single one of you has something that you've pretty much just abandoned or don't focus on, don't work on, don't put the effort and energy, don't have a certain intention to. But we're going to sit down and figure out, because if we want to know where you're going, we have to know where you are first. So we'll just figure out, where are you? So if you do absolutely nothing for the rest of the year and you close just what's in your pipeline or that's already there, you should be able to hit this number. And all of a sudden you could take a big breath. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'll have at least 4 more closings if I just work my pipeline. But we don't want just 4 more. We want to be able to get a couple more each month before now and the end of the year. So
we want to gather the nuts for next year. And they're all nuts. There you go. Okay, that's all we got. Slideshow says back to individual office meetings. So good luck with your awards. Hope you enjoy your recognition today. Happy Tuesday. Oh, Jeff wanted to talk about Peachmaker. Just one more push.
I just want to say real quickly, guys, it is almost completely done, right? As far as renderings and the ability to launch our marketing package, which means two things. Number one, right? We've got a lot to talk about. So if you missed last week was huge. It was a busy one. We've got sales from that one. And guys, just talk about it, push it out. I'll be pushing more stuff out there. You can share it on your Facebook, or your Instagram, TikToks, whatever you want to do, but just get the word out for this thing too. Because guys, it's going to create a wave when it launches, and then other agents are going to start being able to sell it. So I want you guys in the next couple of weeks that we have exclusives, sell it. And then also, little thing that just came out, nobody really knows about this point yet, is when you buy one, there's a system through Marriott right now where you're actually going to get, I forget the exact status, but you're going to get upgraded to whatever medallion status it is. And so when you go check into Marriott's anywhere around the world, you get the discounts. Plus, you get a secret code that you'll be able to get discounts when you book rooms anywhere in the world at any of the Marriott brands, 3,500 hotels. Plus, you'll get food and beverage discounts on everything, everywhere, at every Marriott, anywhere around the world that you stay too, as another benefit to buying one of the units. So we just added that in. So there's just cooler and cooler stuff every week. So join in on Thursday, post about it, and get your clients there. We got about $4.5 million of commissions to give out on this one, and we want them to go to you guys. We don't really want them to go to other companies. So share the word, show up on Thursday, 6 o'clock in this room. Bye.
Cool.
Yes.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.